Well, boys and girls, you know what that music means. You're either tripping on acid or you're listening to 8-Bit Bourbon. We're your hosts. I'm Andy Polidor.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
And that's Adam Baynard. And today we're going to be talking things we're looking forward to in 2014. Shout out to Ben for not calling it 2014. Yes. And our last episode was things we loved about 2013. I'm a little under the weather. You could probably tell, but we do it for the fans.
Do it.
We battle.
Battle.
So, also, I'd just like to say some technical difficulties. We did get our episode out, episode 3 out on iTunes and everywhere else Wednesday. Unfortunately, iTunes had a hiatus this week, and they weren't updating their thing. So if you were a subscriber, I believe it automatically downloaded on your device. If you weren't, you had to wait until, I think, today it finally posted. So... 2 lessons. 1, never trust Apple. And 2, you should probably just subscribe.
Yes, you should subscribe. We're trying to get you guys to subscribe. Also trying to get you guys to write into us, which we're not having any luck with yet. Remember,
8bitbourbon@gmail.com, 8bitbourbon on Twitter.
Be a part of the show.
Please do. Questions, comments, hate mail, anything. We love it all.
God, this mic just smells like Bigfoot's dick.
Adam's using a new mic tonight.
I'll stick with Ron Burgundy themes.
Boy.
Yeah.
And also... my brother, Ben, again, he is going to host our website finally. We're going to be www.8bitbourbon.com. I'm going to move the whole kit and caboodle over, hopefully tomorrow. So not only will we have our podcasts hosted there, even though our feed burner will still be our URL that we use, but we'll have some postings. You'll be able to find our list of things that we loved in 2013. We have that all typed up. We're going to post that on there if you want to download one of those books or see the movies or the gadgets that we mentioned. And we thank Ben for doing that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing goes wrong. But Pocket Cast as well. You can find us on there. And what do you say we just jump right into this?
Well, last week, Andy, we sang this actor's praise in a movie called Star Trek In the Darkness. And this year, he comes back to one of our favorite TV shows.
This is a good start. Television shows of 2014.
Yes, we're going to go televisions, and that show is Sherlock Holmes, or I think it's called Sherlock.
It's just called Sherlock, yeah.
But Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes, one of my all-time favorite TV characters.
That is... I struggle with this. Sherlock might be my favorite television show ever. I don't want to say it's better than Breaking Bad because better and favorite are two different things. Yeah. Breaking Bad is perfection, I think, in a lot of ways. But boy, I don't remember ever being addicted to a television show like Sherlock.
In the format that they show, I hope they keep the same format that the show was in. The 3 episodes, 90 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
If you guys haven't seen the show, it's... First of all, and I like the new Sherlock movies, but literally these television shows, these episodes, they're 90 minutes. They are better than the full feature films.
They might be better.
And way better.
They might be better than a lot of movies out there.
They really are. I mean, I watched these and I got so addicted. They're so brilliant. Their attention to detail, the acting, and the season got delayed, but actually less than it was supposed to because Sherlock, who is Benedict Cumberbatch, he's played the bad guy in Star Trek, and now he is the voice of the dragon in Smaug in The Hobbit. And then
Martin Freeman, the other guy.
Yes, is that his name?
Yeah,
he's playing The Hobbit.
I always want to say Morgan Freeman, but
that's what I thought you said for a second. I was like, no, he looks nothing like him.
Yeah, it could not be more different.
Both there's 2 seasons, and they look sparse because, as Adam said, they're only 3 episodes a season, but they're 90 minutes. These are full-fledged, packed to the gills episodes, and if you haven't seen them, both seasons are on Netflix. They're must-watches, I think.
Yeah. Now, are you going to make the attempt to actually try to watch them as they air?
I haven't decided that because it's a British show. It's on the BBC.
Yeah.
Are we going to get that live here?
I thought I read it airs on PBS.
It does.
But there's also, if you have like DirecTV or Time Warner Cable, there is a BBC American channel.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it plays on there.
I'm not sure.
Me either. And I'm kind of lazy.
It was weird because
I don't even bother looking it up.
I believe that they came to Netflix really fast, and I wonder if that was because they weren't airing in the U.S.
I feel like they got their popularity through Netflix. That's how I heard about it.
Me too.
Other podcasts I'd been listening to, they were like, you got to check out the show. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I would love to watch it live, but because they're 90-minute episodes, so I don't mind. It's not like these are full episodes. It's not to say that there's not a story arc, but it's not like watching, say, Breaking Bad, where they leave you with cliffhangers.
Yeah.
I mean, there are to some extent, but
I think it was big cliffhanger.
Well, that's true, but I don't want to ruin anything. But you know what I'm trying to say is you get your money's worth. It's not like you want to watch 10 episodes in a row.
I'm just afraid that. Sorry, my dog is drinking water in the background. It's making us both laugh. Well, speaking of drinking, this episode is brought to you by Maker's Mark.
It is.
They loved the first couple episodes we had, and they're like, "Hey, stop drinking Bullet.
Yeah,
we'll sponsor you full
time."
They
They really wanted to lock us down. It was like we hit free agency.
Yeah, we did.
We at least we think.
Yeah,
because
they've never responded or talked to us.
No, but I felt we got a feeling from that.
I'd be happy with like a cease and desist order.
Yeah, right. Some sort of attention, or like the crazy ex-girlfriend.
But I was gonna say, back to Sherlock. I feel like I have to at least watch the first episode, try to find it, because I feel like it's gonna take off on Twitter, on the podcast. I do not want.
And
to
it's
get
definitely
spoiled.
a show that if you know what the ending is, say, or something, it's going to be a ruiner because they're 90 minutes and you never see what's coming. You never know what's going to happen.
And if you are a fan of show and you live under a rock, there is a 7-minute mini episode out on YouTube, and it tries to link the gap between
it was pretty good,
2.
as everything they do is. We watched it the other day.
It's just like a long trailer, but it tries to bridge the gap from season 2 to season 3. Mm-hmm. And I'm very excited about it because there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I'm so excited. And no show I've ever seen does a better job tying up loose ends. And you think to yourself, and I wish I had seen these recently because it's been a while now, but there are certain things where I say to myself, like, oh, my God, that's going to be a huge plot hole. And I feel like they always plug the holes. They always tie up loose ends. It's just whoever makes it is absolutely brilliant. And also, I wanted his coat so bad, the coat he wears in the show. And I'm not the only one because I Googled it, and it's a very popular thing. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's a very swanky company. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but they stopped selling it. They started reselling it because of Sherlock, but it's like a 2,400-pound coat. So, yeah. So
you mean like money, not like weight?
Yeah, no, 2,400 pounds.
I was thinking
so wow, whatever
nobody can wear that.
No, it's a very light, airy coat. I wasn't
taking into consideration the euro or whatever it is. My bad.
Yeah, but yeah, so he's very stylish too. Is I guess the point I'm trying to make.
But if there's really only one jacket to get, that's Bane's.
Yeah, that is true. Which, but the difference is one's real.
Yeah.
The other one you got to get at a costume shop.
Yeah, like the Sherlock one, you got to get at a costume shop because the Bane one's the real one. All right, what's next? What about? Because I feel like we can do a whole episode on Sherlock, and we're gonna
jump out of it. I would say both of us. That's our number one show for 2014. If you haven't seen the rest, go watch them. It will change your life. They're so good, every episode, and they only get better. If you're a Sherlock fan, you know the character Moriarty, the guy who plays him in the show. I won't give anything away, but he's so awesome.
He is
too.
awesome.
Oh my God!
I think my favorite episode, though, this isn't given away, is the one where they go. What's the famous story of most famous Sherlock? It's the beast of. It's the dog one, the wolf.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But they kind of do a spin-off of that, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah, it's
really
so good.
Watch the show.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll jump in with one.
Yeah,
here.
go ahead.
Did you watch any Homeland?
I did not.
Okay, well, I watched this. I don't watch a ton of TV, so when I do, it's usually with my girlfriend. We watch the show, and I heard I had this mixed up with a sci-fi show on cable TV, and I can't remember what the name of it was, and everyone kept telling me Homeland's good. I'm like, that show looks terrible. So I realized that it's a Showtime show. It's really about first episode, so very little spoilers, but a guy gets taken basically in the war, and he's tortured and held hostage for 8 years, and he comes back home, and one of the CIA members has suspicions for reasons that you'll see that he might have been turned, and he might be working against the country now, and it starts there. And boy, the acting in this show is so goddamn good. Claire Danes is the lead actress.
Yeah.
Do you know who plays Saul? I think we talked. Someone was saying this the other day.
The red-haired dude?
He has a beard, and I can't think of the actor's name, but I had never seen him in anything. Someone was telling me he's on a couple shows, and he's awesome in those too. And the guy who plays the war veteran his name's Brody in the show.
Oh, I'm thinking of Brody.
Yeah, no, he's like the CIA. He's like her mentor, Saul. But once again, I hate being a spoiler. So let's just say I like the first 2 seasons a lot better than the third. That said, I still love the third, and I'm very much looking forward to season 4. You should definitely watch this.
What was the last season?
Season 3.
Yeah, it got spoiled for me. Somebody on Twitter.
You saw someone spoil it on Twitter?
No, somebody on Facebook. Like a random friend just put the ending on it.
Oh God, I would have commented on that.
I almost wanted to.
That is my number one pet peeve, possibly, is people who do stuff. Because you know what it is? It's a selfish thing. It is. Let me raise my self-worth by talking about a show that you haven't seen. You know what I'm saying? Somehow, like, they feel like they get they're raised in somehow by like they're a part of the show. It's the same thing where like certain fans of sports think that they're better fans because their team's good. You know, like, you don't throw the goddamn ball. You know what I mean?
And what we're really trying to say is you're an asshole.
Yeah, really, you're an asshole. That is so frustrating to me when people ruin movies, TV shows.
Yeah, that's
books,
why I'm afraid of Sherlock. Because I feel like I'm gonna have to watch the first episode.
I know. No, I think you're right there. I think we should do that. It's like one of those things that's sad because if we can't get it in the through television or through anything else, I'm going to be tempted to steal it just out of convenience, just for what you said, because it's such a huge, it wasn't a huge show and now it's a huge show. And I think you're right. We're going to be on Twitter someday and even if someone said like, holy shit, I can't believe that happened. You know, you know a twist is coming, you know? So anyway, Homeland season 4, that's going to be 2014. I don't know where they're going to take the show, but I'm excited. Go ahead. What else you got?
Really big one. If we keep with like the big epic dramas is I think it's season 4. Game of Thrones coming out. Mm-hmm. It confuses me.
I'm not sure which season it is
because they're splitting up like the books are
right.
Like,
we read the books, so the seasons are hard to keep track of for sure.
Yeah, I thought last season was phenomenal, and I think I really enjoyed it just because there's so many people out there that haven't read the books that didn't know what was going to happen with like the Red Wedding, and stuff like. Won't spoil it because I'm sure there's people out there. A
lot of big shockers in that. And if you saw the first season, you already know that or read any of the books.
And there was a lot of things in there they could have shied away from, and maybe not done them, changed them, but they chose not to. Because that's my biggest problem with The Walking Dead is how much they change it. Yeah. Like if they stuck with the comic, it would be like. You'd
be a bigger fan.
Yeah, it'd be great. But the Game of Thrones they keep going forward, pushing it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that season 1 was okay, and you know I read all 5 books before, or all the books, whatever was out before season 1 came out, and then I thought season 2 was kind of bad.
Yeah,
and boy, was last season awesome.
It was awesome.
And I thought it really turned around. I shouldn't say bad. Bad is not the right word. I thought it was a little boring or underwhelming. And that said, of course, I read the book, so I knew it was coming. But boy, I thought season 3, every episode was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see people because like we've read the books and we know the character development. You fall in love with characters that you weren't necessarily thinking that you would actually even like these people. And it's fun to see people that haven't read the books get interested in it and be like, wow, this guy is kind of cool and this person's kind of cool.
No one paints characters with more shades of gray than George R.R. Martin. You can't. There's only a few guys that are really good or really bad, and not all of them live very long. So you just never know what's going to happen in that show. And like I think what you're alluding to is some of the characters that are very bad. You end up being. I think one of the characters we share is one of our favorite characters.
We're gonna try on this podcast to keep away from all spoilers. So if it sounds like we're being vague, it's because we're trying to be. We're not gonna give anything away.
Yeah.
And there's this. But if you haven't read the books, there's like the books as they keep going, like they keep introducing more and more new characters. Like the characters that we know now,
which by the way
aren't
scares
necessarily
me.
The biggest parts.
Yeah, which scares me as a reader, especially when they introduce a new character. I'm like, God damn it! Like you know, far into a series, I'm like, God damn it! Now I need to learn a new name. I need to learn a new background,
like a whole heritage, like a whole family.
But when they do it right, like George R. R. Martin. It's really cool in these books. But you know what I'm saying? It's like you're like, oh, God, now I got to remember all this.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to see how well they because I thought they handled the Red Wedding, all this stuff very well. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited to see how they bring in new characters.
Me too.
And I don't even know where I don't even remember how.
I know the five book series is totally melted together for me now. So when I see I only know a few things. Storm of Swords was my favorite book, so I kind of remember what was from there. But I'm not sure if season 3 was halfway through Storm of Swords.
I don't remember either.
I feel like that's what it was.
Because the last thing I remember from the show was Sansa and what? They got married. That was in the season. Yeah. That was in the show. But Sansa and Tyrion got married, and that's the last thing I remember from the episodes. And the Red Wedding, obviously. But that's about it.
Yeah. I want to say it's halfway through Storm of Swords, book 3, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, hopefully. Because there's a lot of cool things that happen in that book.
You could tell, too, that between book 1 and book 2, or season 1 and season 2, the budget went way up. they're able to do it. Because it's when I heard that they were making it into a show, I was like, that's going to be really hard. There's so many characters, so many locales, there's so many battles and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the most popular show on TV, and it's funny. It's also the most pirated show on TV. So HBO needs to get their material out.
You know, I got to say, and if they made it, this is just what we're talking about with Sherlock. If they made it more convenient, I think more people would pay for it. But it's sometimes it's like, hey, can I get your HBO Go account? Because I don't know how else to get this show, you know.
Well, the problem is Time Warner owns HBO, and you never get a standalone HBO app. Like, how great it would be if we could have HBO Go and you pay $15 bucks.
We've talked about this. If we could just get sports and HBO, we'd be fine, you know.
It'd be great.
Okay, I'll just mention two quickly. I don't know if you have any more big ones.
No.
Two shows I watched with my girlfriend, both HBO shows. Have you seen Girls?
I have not. It looked too hipster for me.
It's not hipster. I like it. It's very funny. It's very well written.
The chick kind of annoys me.
I tell you what, though, she makes the show. She's brilliant.
Yeah.
And she annoys me, too, but she's brilliant. I guess my problem with it is the more seasons I see is, like, there's like, the characters just have no redeeming qualities. Like, they're all such little spoiled shits, you know what I mean? And it is very funny, and it is very well done, but it is like the worst part of Manhattan, you know what I mean? Why don't you go ahead and mention that live on the air? Adam just showed me something on his phone.
Big thing. We were just sending out tweets before the show, and because we finally have our iTunes thing up. We didn't want to send out tweets to like our favorite people, like saying we were mentioning them,
and have people see it.
And then the episode wasn't
look
there.
Like amateurs, yeah.
But I sent out a tweet to my favorite comic book writer right now, Scott Snyder, and we just got a nice little tweet back from him, and that kind of just made my night. Yeah. It was awesome.
Adam just lit up.
Like I did. I'm happy. That guy is awesome. Go out and read his books. All of his
he's a big deal. I mean,
I think he's the biggest deal.
I'm not a big, fan of. No, I shouldn't say fan. I'm just not that integrated into that, and I know who he is.
Yeah, I would love like after all these. Well, no, we could segue right here, but I won't do it. I'll bring it back up.
Yeah, we'll bring it back up because it's exciting. So
thank
we'll
you,
talk about
Scott Snyder. You're the man. Now,
Shout
Greg
out.
Capullo. You live like 30 minutes away. Give us a little retweet.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, now you said Snyder. Is he the one that lives?
I think he lives like New York City. He grew up in New York City or something. He might be like Vermont or something like that.
Okay.
Awesome guy. Go read all of his work.
Yes, and we're going to get back to him because we're going to do books / that stuff in a second. But the other show I was just going to mention, the other HBO show was Veep, which is, what's her name? Julianne Dreyfus from Seinfeld. Yeah. It's short, less than 30, 25-minute episodes, but very funny. It's like she plays the female vice president, and it kind of like it's a parody on politics, but a lot of it hits home so well. Like the fact that like every decision is so phony, just to all of the underbelly that goes on there of they make a decision in public, but the real reasons that they did it are hilarious. And the battles between her and the other people, I mean, it's very much a comedy. But if you're looking for just an easy to watch show, it's very good.
Well, now that I'm done blushing about Scott Snyder, let's talk about my favorite love, and that's Batman. And that's a big movie coming up soon.
Now, are you talking about
Batman?
Is it Superman versus Batman?
I think it's a working title. They haven't really officially announced it. And the funny thing is, I'm bringing this up as my most anticipated thing in 2014. This movie's not coming out in 2014.
Is it supposed to?
And I keep saying 2014.
Is it supposed to? Yeah, 2014.
No, it's like July 2015.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But I bring this up because I'm such a nerd about Batman that I just want to see a teaser trailer this year. Because there's so many questions because Batman people, and I think DC comic fans in general, they've lost their lid when they found out that Ben Affleck was playing
Ben Affleck.
Batman.
This is the movie that he was announcing, right?
This is the Man of Steel sequel.
Okay.
The title right now is Superman versus Batman, and it's starting to bring the DC world together. Right now, they announced Wonder Woman in it. There are talks about Nightwing, and obviously Batman and Superman. So it's very exciting to see because they're going for the Avengers thing. And it's exciting to see DC try to go for it.
It's interesting. I've had this conversation with you before. I just have to say, I love Batman. I think Superman is such a silly character. And how do they do an Avengers type movie where one of the guys might as well be Jesus?
Well, I mean, you got Hulk. what can stop the Hulk?
True,
and they work that out in Avengers.
True, but Superman could fly. He could spin the plane around. He could take out. I mean, Superman is. I don't know. I'm asking because I think you've read.
I don't know. What I think they'll do is what I would do is just go like the Marvel way and bring enemies from outer space into the world.
Right, have an even more superhuman.
Something that can stop.
Okay,
Superman.
that makes
something
sense.
that doesn't make Superman as powerful.
Because I'm a big fan of Batman as well, but Superman is just it's such a tough thing to have a realistic story when he can do anything almost. You know, he has every superpower pretty much.
And it's crazy. Like I just need to see. I need to know more from this movie. Like there's so much stuff they're trying to do in one movie. Like Marvel took their time. They had Iron Man. They brought all the characters out on their own movies and then brought them together with Avengers. This one, it's a sequel to Superman, and they're bringing like 4 new characters in.
Yeah, it's interesting that
presumably
the
like a 2.5 hour slot.
Yeah,
and it's called Batman versus Superman. So how are you going to develop other characters?
Yeah,
with I don't know.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what it's like now. What's his name? Is it Kevin Smith?
Yeah,
he was saying we talked about this before, where he saw the Ben Affleck suit.
Yeah, he saw Ben Affleck in the suit,
and he went crazy. Right? Yeah. He thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm not one of those people that think Ben Affleck will do a bad job. I think he'll do a great job. If you look back, like the last couple of years with like The Town and Argo,
he's been in some good
phenomenal.
Stuff lately.
Like he's a good actor.
Now I have to say, where I agree with that, and I used to be a huge Ben Affleck hater. He did a great job. He directed Argo as well, and did The Town possibly as well.
Yeah, he did The Town too.
Yeah. What I was going to say was my main problem with Affleck in the Batman role is that it's Ben Affleck. I don't know. It's just for me. It's not that he's a bad actor. It's that it's going to be hard to believe him in that role.
See, I'm okay because I can see him as Bruce Wayne, and I think that's the hardest challenge of being Batman. Like Christian Bale was a great Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And once that costume's on, it doesn't have to be Ben Affleck in there. It could be a stuntman. It could be anything in there. It's gonna
be interesting. I'm actually. It's one of those things where it's such a hated decision now that I want to turn away and almost be a fan now just to see how it is.
I just want to see a glimpse of it.
Can I just say though, as we disagreed, I didn't really like the last Superman.
Yeah, I mean, I had problems with it, but I thought it was okay moving forward into the DC world. I thought it set a good tone. I thought I was okay with the way they didn't work to be like Lois Lane doesn't know who Superman is.
Right.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, that's really bad.
She's supposed to be like the world's greatest reporter, and her boyfriend, she couldn't tell her boyfriend was Superman.
Right, because he has glasses.
Yeah,
it's that is really bad.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
Yeah, is it the same director as the original?
Yeah, it's Zack Snyder.
He directed the first Superman.
Yeah, and I'm so impressed with myself for not saying. When we're off air, I keep on saying when I want to say Scott Snyder, I say Zack Snyder, and I haven't screwed it up once.
Every time you say Scott Snyder, I think Zack Snyder.
Yeah, it's crazy because there are 2 big names in the DC world.
Right, that's the problem. They're in the same arena. Yeah,
but yeah, I can't wait. There's just so many things I want to know. I want to know what the plot is, what the tone is, because Ben Affleck is supposed to be an older Batman, and I'm okay with them being an older Batman.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
They were
with
looking
that too,
for a mid-40s Batman.
I think that's pretty cool. Yeah,
it's gonna be cool.
Okay, I'll get in my number 1 movie by far. And it's kind of related in a way. 2 of my favorite movies ever, certainly in my top 50, were Memento and Inception. And I love the Batman trilogy a ton. Christopher Nolan is absolutely brilliant. And his brother writes the movies and he directs them, right?
Well, sometimes they co-write them.
Yeah. So I don't want to leave his brother out, who I don't know his name, so I'm going to.
I want to say David, but that's not right.
Yeah. But their new movie, Interstellar, their new movie, Interstellar, it's going to be a sci-fi space-related movie, obviously, by the title. And I'm just so excited. There's not much info about it. I know that they just released the first trailer. It's Matthew McConaughey, who I have a very love-hate relationship with.
Yeah, me too.
But the trailer was awesome. Did you watch it yet?
Yeah, it's great.
It's really cool. It's very... it doesn't tell you anything about the movie, though. It's a teaser in every way. But with all these cool space movies coming out, what was the Aliens prequel,
Prometheus,
and the new Gravity. Just the special effects now are so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what Christopher Nolan can
It'll
do
be
with
interesting
them.
because he doesn't use special effects really at all.
That's also true. We talked about
So,
that too.
I
How
mean, he's doing a space movie.
We like that because, and maybe it'll end up mostly being on Earth.
Yeah.
Who knows? We're not really sure, but that's why the Batman movies are very cool because even to this day, if you want to mix real actors in a real setting with special effects, if you use a lot of it, it becomes very fake. That's not to say like a movie oh God, what's that movie? God, I'm so brain dead because I'm sick. I think it was a Zack Snyder movie.
300.
Well, 300, but that's not what I'm thinking of. Watchmen. Movies like that are kind of, they blend CGI because they're not super realistic. That's one thing. But the Batman universe is very
Talk about
real.
300?
That's not what I was thinking of. I'm not even sure. Oh God, the sequel's coming out soon.
Sin City?
Sin City, yes. Was that Snyder?
No, that was Frank Rodriguez.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
No.
No.
Robert Rodriguez.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Movies like that use CGI is very cool because it melds. The world is very exaggerated, so it works. But in a Batman movie, if you use too much CGI, it's very. And maybe that's why I didn't like Superman that much because it was just CGI, laser beams in your eyeballs.
He doesn't save anybody. So many people die in that movie. They flatten a whole city.
It is funny how
and he's just over there fighting, trying to save one person.
So we all do this where we, if someone lives, someone dies. If it's not a character that we know about, you're like, phew, at least it wasn't, Fiona or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just a natural reaction when you're watching a movie.
It's so great. That movie, there's so, people were like, in the Marvel universe is still a big deal about how much destruction the Avengers did to New York City.
It's ridiculous,
but they flattened a whole city in Superman and nobody said a word about it.
Yeah, that's true. It is funny how that works.
This guy was around for a day and the whole city's gone.
Wait for Batman versus Superman when there's going to be some sort of crazy, bad guy. We don't know who it is yet. But.
Yeah, but go back to Interstellar. Do you think it's going to be on Earth? Because I was talking about this with my fam because I made my brother watch it on Christmas. And I was like, I could see this. I mean, it's obvious. You can be like, oh, it's going to go this way. It's going to go that way. But the thing I got from the trailer was that he's making a point that we were wrong for giving up our space program.
Right.
And now we need either to get off of Earth or something's coming to Earth that we need to stop.
Right. And the trailer is so good because you don't know what. No. I was thinking that it was going to be mostly in space when I heard about First of all, it's called Interstellar.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a sci-fi-ish movie. But then when I saw that trailer, I was like, boy, this looks like it's going to be filmed on Earth mostly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He's in a cornfield at a farm.
But
he watches
I do not want it to be an end of the world kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. All I know is that I trust Christopher Nolan. And that's why I love the Batman movies. But I think we both agree we're glad that he's done with them only because his originals are just so good. His Memento and
Inception
are two just
the
dynamite
Prestige
movies.
Is great.
And The Prestige, another awesome movie. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not just because he did my boy Justice. Yeah, big part. But I think hands down he's best, all around writing. Because not a lot of directors write their own stuff. I can't say all of them because I don't really know. Yeah. But Spielberg, I can't see Spielberg. Spielberg doesn't write his own stuff. He might do he might adapt stuff for this big screen. But Christopher Nolan and his brother, they do everything from in putting the score together. His music that he chooses for his music or movies is perfect.
Yeah.
The Batman, the people he gets to do it. He's good at picking people to do things.
Yeah. He's brilliant. I mean, the way that he made the Joker is one of the great, because that's my favorite comic book character.
Yeah.
Was unbelievable. It really was.
Fantastic.
I would say that was the best movie. You think you probably agree? I don't know. The
second one is the best one.
Yeah, I think for sure.
Hands down.
You got any more movies? I got only one more.
I was going to say The Avengers. We touched on it. I'm just interested. It's pretty much I don't know. I watch movies and I like this. I know I'm going to enjoy Avengers because I'm a big comic book guy. You can throw anything at me and I'm going to eat it, digest it. I'll be like, that was awesome.
Right.
But they are going really ballsy with these movies. They're bringing some obsolete characters into the mix that maybe the mainstream people don't know. I don't really even know who they are.
Yeah, there's a couple that I'm not really that familiar with.
Yeah, and they're going all out on it. And I want to see if it's going to work.
Well, can we just say that Robert Downey Jr. is the Avengers because he ties all of those characters together. I thought he was so awesome. I mean, that's why I like the Iron Man movies, but I feel like without him, Scarlett Johansson, the guy with the bow and arrow. What is his character?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Like I've heard of Hawkeye, but I didn't know anything
Hawkeye's
about
terrible
him. It's a horrible character. I feel like without Robert Downey Jr. and also I have to say the guy who played the Hulk was great too.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, I thought he was. I wish he had a Hulk movie because he was really good in that.
I really liked the Hulk movie before. If Edward Norton wasn't such an ass, he should have been in that movie.
I thought Ruffalo was almost better though because he was the calm
I thought they were both
guy
great,
to the sarcastic.
But I really
Joker
enjoyed that
as
first
Robert
Hulk
Downey
movie.
Jr. Yeah.
Or the second one. The
yeah.
first one was
so bad.
Isn't it funny that Ang Lee, that like guy that's been nominated for like many Academy Awards now, he did like Life of Pi and something.
That's right. He's a big
and
deal.
like Brokeback Mountain. He directed that horrible Hulk movie.
Oh God, it was so bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. But yeah, that's what I'm excited for, the Avengers, because I want to see them pull everything together, how they're going to do, because there's so many movies going on. Like and space movies interest me, and they have Guardians of the Galaxy coming out soon, which is another crazy space movie that's supposed to tie in Avengers.
Well, it's funny too. The only other movie I have, because I'm not a huge movie buff, but the only other movie I have is X-Men: Days of Future Past, which I think looks very good. Jeez. But it's just funny because it's another comic book movie, and I think that's why far and away Interstellar is my number one movie for next year, because Hollywood is just spitting out sequels and remakes, and like they've already rebooted Superman, Hulk, and Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
Well,
that's absolutely crazy.
You're gonna keep getting those Spider-Man movies whether you like it or not, because they have like some deal with like Marvel. They have to put out like one every like 3 years or something, or they lose the rights.
The new ones aren't that bad. It's just like I don't.
They told the same story that came out like less than 10 years.
Another Spider-Man movie. Yeah,
they just threw another actor in. They could have just replayed the same movie, just put that new Andy McDonald's or what. Is that his name, Andy McDonald?
That sounds right.
He could have just put his face right over Tobey Maguire's.
Right, like if they're going to do another Spider-Man, like how about have him when he's already Spider-Man and do some different arc on it? You know
I don't
what
understand why they always have to do
Why
origins.
would they just reboot it?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to
That's
me.
why I think Days of Future Past could be cool. I'm always hesitant on Fox movies because I usually think they suck. Like the first X-Men blew. The second one was all right. The third one was terrible.
And the Wolverine movies.
I won't even watch the new one.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it either, but
Days of Future Past looks awesome.
It looks very good.
Yeah.
And the first one was very, actually,
it was
First
good.
Class, was that what it's called?
Yeah, it was very good.
And I've said this to you before. I wish that they would make an X-Men CGI like Pixar, not Pixar because they would never do it, but like a semi-violent. It doesn't have to be violent, but you know, a PG-13 animated movie, because I feel like that fits X-Men so much better.
Yeah,
you see these characters sometimes, and you're just like Batman's very believable in a real world setting.
Yeah.
Whereas like you see like the X-Men, and you're just like, oh, really? You know what I mean?
It's funny like you say that, because Marvel dominates like the besides the Dark Knight series, obviously, because that movie just makes billions of dollars, just like the Avengers does. But DC makes such good like comic or cartoons, but they can't seem to put a live action movie together.
Yeah.
And then Marvel makes awesome live action movies, but can't seem to put like their cartoons are decent, but the DC ones are just top notch. Like if you get a chance, I didn't mention this last week, but The Dark Knight Returns is one of the best like animated movies ever. It's based off one of the best comic books I've ever read, and it's phenomenal.
Is that is there a Joker in that?
Yeah.
And is it Hamill?
No, it's not Hamill. They used all new different people.
So it's new.
Yeah.
Okay, because Hamill did it for like 10, 15
I didn't
years,
mention
right?
it because I thought it came out. It came out in two parts, and I thought the first part came out in the end of 2012.
Yeah, I'm not.
So I'm not sure.
Now, just as an aside, I don't really watch many animated Batman stuff, but I remember reading that they said that Mark Hamill was the best Joker voice ever.
Oh,
Would you
he
agree with that?
absolutely is. Yeah,
he nailed it. Right.
Yeah.
It's very cool to see him doing that as Luke Skywalker, because I haven't really seen him in anything since.
Yeah,
but he's a big voice actor, not just the Joker. I think he does other stuff too.
I'm only familiar with like the Joker stuff, but he is Joker.
He nailed it, right?
Yeah, and there's been tons of people that played Batman like in live action movies and cartoons, but there's only one real Batman. That's Kevin Conroy. He's the guy from the animated series. He's done all the other stuff. It sucks they're not using him right now.
And as much as I love the Batman movies, it was tough sometimes watching the voice with the raspy stuff.
I was okay with it because I don't know. I was okay with it.
It didn't ruin the movies or anything for me, but there were times where I was like, boy, it depends. Like sometimes it was fine, and then sometimes like when he said two words, it was okay. But when he would like say a whole like two sentences in that raspy voice, I was just like, Jesus.
Well, and like, yeah, and it bothered me when he was with people that like kind of like he could trust, like, you know, let go of the voice a little.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you playing a role? Exactly. But
like at the end of The Dark Knight Rises, like when he's talking, he pretty much tells Gordon who he was, and he's still using the voice. It's like,
Right.
stop.
Right. It's like, are you trying to leave him with question
Yeah,
marks?
he's like, you're the guy that gave a boy a jacket.
I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Ridiculous. It's like, hey, dude,
funny.
you remember when my parents got killed and you gave me your
Right,
jacket and you were
yeah.
really nice
how
to
about
me?
I take my mask off
Yeah.
and let's talk about it like men.
But yeah, speaking of Batman, let's go to games because we were talking
Okay.
about Kevin Conroy. Unless you had something else on movies,
No,
because I think games are going to take the longest for us.
Yes,
'cause-
absolutely. And then we'll get into little books, music, gadgets, but
But
games is gonna be the meat of it.
actually, this one's kind of like a current event kind of thing. The first part's not. Just so Kevin Conroy, who I just said, is like my Batman. He's like I don't even really know what he looks like, but his voice is Batman. to me.
Hamill's the Joker. This guy's your Batman.
Yeah.
And when you hear him in your head,
And before Batman Origins Batman Arkham Origins was announced, he went on Twitter and said he was working with Rocksteady on a Batman game. And then all of a sudden, the tweet went away. He wasn't involved with the new Batman Origins game. And it wasn't made by Rocksteady. So there is a new next-gen Batman game somewhere, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's probably my most anticipated game.
if it exists,
If it exists,
Okay.
because the tweet got
Well, I mean,
like
of course it's
deleted.
gonna exist eventually,
He
but
said
the
he was
question is
working
he
on it,
involved?
and why would he lie? Because I mean, if Rocksteady's going to use Kevin Conroy, it's a Batman game or some form of Batman in the game.
Right.
And I just saw on like Polygon or IGN yesterday, they put up a post on their Facebook wall that announcement's coming 12/31/2013. So they're
Okay.
going to announce something.
so you're hoping
but
the
it-
two tie together.
But it could be like, with my luck, it'll be like Arkham Asylum or Arkham Origins download or
right,
something.
right. Which totally.
But it could
happen.
be. So I'm pretty excited.
That was like
one of
just-
my most like anticipated things could be.
That would
next
be
week.
awesome. Yeah.
I'm really excited for that.
That just reminded me. What's the guy who makes Metal Gear Solid games?
I want to say Demo.
Koja.
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever. His
I'm
name is.
afraid I'm gonna like announce the guy that created like the Nintendo. If I think it's Hideo Kojima or something
That
like
sounds
that.
yeah, that sounds pretty. He
Hideo
said,
or
I can't
something
remember
like that.
which game show it was or which announcement. Maybe like it was like VGX or something happened. Anyway, he announced like he was promoting this huge announcement for next gen. It ended up being in the new Metal Gear Solid. You can use like an old school PlayStation 1 version of Snake if you like unlock it. And everyone was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like he announced this like it was going to be a huge separate franchise or something. You know, it was basically an unlockable skin at the end of the day. I just want to say he's one of those clouds like what's Peter, how do you pronounce the guy's name? Peter Molyneux or the guy who makes
Molyneux?
Molyneux, the guy who makes Fables and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Who I like some of his
Whatever
games.
happened with that little weird boy game they had?
I don't even know. All I know is he talks like every game everyone knows he's notorious for this. He's like going to change the world with his next game, and it always ends up being a disappointment. But the thing is, he makes good games. I wish he would stop with the huge gestures, you know, just like over-promising stuff because it's hard to take him seriously, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
Quick aside.
I'm just going to try to breeze through these because
Okay, go ahead.
it's pretty much Batman. And I have down The Witcher 3, which I'm excited for. Like, it's funny. I'm looking at my list. And most of my games, like, I always talk about how I'm not, like, interested in playing single-player games.
Right.
I see a bunch of RPGs on here.
Yeah. Well, The Witcher 3, we'll just say a couple words about it. The graphics look stunning.
I think that's what dropped me in.
Yeah,
I love
I
RPGs. I
played
love
The
dragons
Witcher
and stuff
2.
like that, which I'm hoping it's like that.
It kind of is. I played The Witcher 2, but the problem was my computer couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
I had it like boot camped on my MacBook Pro, and I played Witcher 2, and I could just tell like this game's really awesome, but it was running so slow I just couldn't deal with it. But the trailer for Witcher 3 is unbelievably good.
Everybody's
good
like
looking.
saying it's best graphics ever, and I mean,
does.
all
It
they're
looks
seeing
like the
is like
best
sizzle
graphics ever.
reels. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I have the
else you got?
Division down because I'm excited for like that MMO, that MMO feel on
I've
a
told you,
console.
I'm worried about this game.
I'd be worried about too. Anything from
Because-
Ubisoft and Tom Clancy like attached to it, I always get nervous.
Because we played Grand Theft Auto 5, and obviously Grand Theft Auto 5 is a single player game that they tacked on a multiplayer. But the multiplayer was extremely fun for about 5 days, and then it was boring to all of us. You did the same missions, and obviously the Division is being made as a multiplayer game, so I don't want to say it's going to be like that. But I'm just saying that games like that, open world games like that, you can run out of things to do very quickly, and I hope that isn't the case because it's been delayed once already, and I just worry that like how many times are we going to try to infiltrate the fortress with the guys, you know?
Yeah.
So I hope the PvP part of it is strong because I think that's going to be big. but it definitely looks really cool.
Yeah,
The
I
trailers and
have
stuff.
concerns too. Like what I was thinking about, like my concerns are like we don't play games that often. We play. I mean, I probably do maybe 5-6 hours a week.
We choose which games very
So
carefully.
I'm
to
worried
play.
about like, am I even going to be able to be competitive in this
Right.
game unless I spend money? Because there's going to be people that the first week are 40 hours in that game,
Right.
And they probably spent $40 already.
Yeah, that was one of the main reasons
you know
I got out of World of
microtransactions
Warcraft.
will be a
because
part
it
of
was-
these games.
It was just such a lifetime sink that
Yeah.
it was. Yeah,
Like I just want to be able to get like 4 friends together and go up a couple blocks or whatever and do some
Right.
missions because it looks awesome.
It does look very cool. I thought the trailer they did was awesome. And I think we both appreciate when game companies try to do something different. This is definitely different. This has not really been done. I mean, it has been, but not in this. Like, this is a multiplayer focused, open world, like, I don't know how to put it, like third person shooter. And
It's like almost.
I'm sure there's
it
been a
almost
couple
looks like
games that.
tactical too.
Yeah, it's a risk, I think, for them.
Yeah.
And it was one of the games that stole most of the show. So
All right, the other one, the only real big one I have left is actually it's just like wishful thinking. I think is I'm hoping for a Fallout 4 game.
yes,
I'm hoping.
did you see the website that was teasing it?
Yeah, but then
It
I
ended up
heard
being some nerd
Yeah.
who made the whole thing up, and everyone was so pissed.
But then
We-
Bethesda
we know that
did
game's
come
coming
out. Bethesda
eventually.
did come out and say something that it was going to take place in Boston or somewhere in Massachusetts.
Right, I heard that rumor
Yeah,
too.
they like confirmed that it was going to do that.
Yeah, because we know it's coming. It's just a matter of when.
I want it this year.
I never played any of the Fallout games. That's one mainly because they were.
You should go back and play one of them.
I know. At first they were for the computer, and I wasn't playing computer games. I haven't really played any in a while. And then I don't know. I went through that lull where I really stopped playing games at all, and I definitely missed out because everyone says they're 10s. They're awesome.
Yeah. And all right, the last 3 I'll go through quick. Titanfall, I don't think that needs any explanation.
That's going to be our game that
Yeah.
we buy regardless, 100%.
And the last 2 are I don't even know what to call it. It's the Xbox Store now. It's not XBLA.
Yeah,
It's
I don't know.
Xbox
Xbox
Store.
games, I don't know. It's a good question.
Xbox want the HBO. I don't know. But the one is Super Time Force and the other is Trials Fusion. It's not a New Year's resolution, but I'm actually going to try to go back like my 360 towards like the end of the last 2-3 years of pretty much actually anything after Shadow Complex. I never downloaded those games. I never tried anything on live, and I feel like I missed out a lot of like good XBLA games. So I'm going to try to make an attempt with this generation to download some, and I tried with Halo Spartan Assault, and it's fine.
It's
whatever.
okay. Yeah, we played it.
But I don't want to miss out these little indie developer.
Yeah, because I
games.
think I told you Braid it's easily in my top 10 games ever. It might be in my top 5. Like that's how good that game was, and it was a single developer, and the game is just incredible. So yeah, I feel the same way. Where there were times where I forced myself to say like I need to download and play that game.
Yeah,
so Shadow Complex. That's what I did. I saw it was getting sick reviews. I knew it was like a Metroid game, which is one of my favorite games ever.
if I know something doesn't suck, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
It's just I'm gonna
That's
try
a good
it.
strategy because you end up buying subpar AAA games for $60.
Yeah.
You could buy really good games, even if they're a shorter experience, which in our case is good because we're not playing as many video games. If you could beat a game in 5 hours and it's awesome, that's totally worth $10.
Yeah, and Super Time Force. This is a game that like it's been done for months, and they're just I don't know what's going on. I read about.
Why don't you give them the?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Actually, I don't really want to spoil it. Just go somewhere and watch a video on this game.
It's a brilliant.
It's an awesome idea for a game. If you like the old school shooters like Contra, stuff like that, this game has such a cool
that with a
twist on it.
twist,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's awesome.
Can I say that Braid did something similar? I won't give away the twist.
Oh, really?
But it's very different because it's not a shooter.
Yeah.
But it was very similar and it would only react to the way you moved. Anyway, I don't want to get into it because we haven't mentioned what it is.
The Super Time Force, they're saying it could come out early January. So, I mean,
yeah.
this game could be out in a week. This game could be out before this podcast gets posted.
I love what Xbox is doing. I don't think it's started yet, but they with the actual units being able to be developer units, which is awesome for low cost developing, and they're giving away the what's it called, the developer ID program, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
And I think they're giving like developers they like Unity, which I actually played with a couple weeks ago. I was trying to like do tutorials on making a game, and it was pretty interesting.
I just think of Dave Chappelle when you say Unity. You ever heard that? Unity.
No, I don't think so.
You never heard that?
I don't think so.
I
do
want to
love
say
Dave
it's like
Chappelle,
Rick.
though.
I want to say it's like Rick James. He says like Unity or something. Chad, find it for us.
I have to find that, and I'll never be able to look at the program the same way again. But yeah, they're giving away like a somewhat expensive software program to developers to make it easier transition, because they know they got killed because they were saying PlayStation was the place indie developers were going to go in the next generation, and I think that there is some truth to that because I think Sony treated them better, but people forget Xbox Live Arcade kind of started that big indie thing, and it's very cool that such small developers, the ID program, and I'm sure PS4 has something similar because they're very good to their indie developers too, but a single developer made Braid. I mean, that game is a 10, so that's very cool.
It's cool. That's why I feel like I need to, as a gamer, I need to give them the downloads that they deserve.
Especially with this podcast.
Yeah,
and
now that we have a little bit of power of like trying to help people find new games, I feel like a little bit of responsibility to go out there.
That's definitely true too, where you want to support those. Like, we were talking about how we want to support developers, or reselling games can hurt them. But do I feel bad about reselling an EA game? Hell no.
No.
But do I feel bad about reselling, a smaller developer or a game that's not getting enough attention? This is a great way to support them. Go download Braid, go download some of these games, and it's not gonna break the bank anyway.
I'm hoping for a good year on a downloadable indie game.
Me too, because it's very small right now.
Yeah, I really don't. Yeah, there's because I was looking through the list when we're trying to make our list. There's some big games coming out this year. Hopefully, I mean, you could always change. People probably whatever the reason is, they put the game's going to come out Q4, Q3, and it could get delayed.
Sure.
Delays happen. Why don't you hit me up with some games? Because we have a lot of the same games, so we're
right. We didn't want to mention them all twice, but let's start with, for Christmas, my girlfriend surprised me with, I bought a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One. If you're a fan of the program, you already know that. My girlfriend surprised me with a Wii U for Christmas, which was very shocking. I'm not surprised very often, and especially by a female with a video game console, And I wanted a Wii U, actually, because I'm a big Nintendo fan, but I already spent, $1,000 on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and I'm doing my best to make that worth it as it is. So I just didn't feel like a comfortable, and also I have a 3DS, so I didn't feel comfortable buying that. But when she bought it and it was free, it was fantastic. So now my games list has definitely changed because of that Christmas present. I've already played the game that already came out, Super Mario Brothers U, I think it's called. This is the side scroller.
Yeah, I like that one.
Great game. Very fun. Came with the console. I just downloaded last night Super Mario 3D World, which is awesome. I think it's many people's game of the year.
Have you tried it with another person yet?
I haven't.
I heard it changes once you've
I got to bring the nunchuck home. It'd be hilarious seeing my girlfriend try to play that game with me.
Just knock you off the map.
Oh, I'm going to knock her off the map.
Yeah, there we go.
But because of that, I'll just go through the other. I'm looking forward to, obviously, the next Zelda, because once again, if you're a fan of the program, Zeldas are my favorite games ever. I'm also looking forward to Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. If you ever play a Donkey Kong game, I love them because they're very difficult. They're very smart. They're very puzzle kind of oriented at a fast pace. You're jumping in and out of carts. And then I think we're both very excited for Super Smash Bros. Yes, we love that game. We love to play that game. The best part is we'll be able to play online in a much more seamless way.
Well, that's assuming. Oh wait, you mean against other people?
Yeah,
I'm saying because I probably won't.
Oh no, but I mean, me and you can sit down and play people online. But how much fun would that be to play 2-on-2 Smash Brothers competitively? Because we could play competitive. We play drinking games. Let's be honest, with our friends. But it would be very cool to play 2-on-2 versus two people we don't know.
Absolutely,
that sounds really exciting to me. And it's going to be high def. Seeing high def Mario is really cool, and it'll be the same thing with Smash Brothers, because how I was telling you, vector art is where you use Illustrator, and basically it makes all these vectors, and it can resize to any size, and it still doesn't have jagged edges and stuff like that. And that's kind of what Mario's doing here, where Battlefield 4, amazing looking game, right? That's going to look bad in 10 years. It just is, because that's the nature of video games. Super Mario 3D World will still look good. And that's what's really cool is Nintendo's figure out a way where, if you go back and play 16-bit games, they still look good just because they're different. It's not like you're that's not as realistic as real life. It's a 16-bit game. Whereas if you see this game, you've already seen trailers, everything is just perfectly smooth. And it's like if you took Super Mario World and just ripped it out and made it 3D. Yeah. It's just it's everything's bright and vibrant, and I just feel like it's a brilliant move because I feel like it's going to look good. 1080p Mario game or any Nintendo game is going to look good, and Smash Brothers is going to be the same way. It's going to look good in 10 years, which is I think it's very impressive by Nintendo.
Yeah, I had a funny thought when I was thinking about Mario. The first time I ever played the new one for Wii, not the 3D World, is that what it's called?
Yeah, your Super Mario Brothers.
But when I
Game
first
World.
played it, and I played it on like my brother's like 50-inch TV, I was like, I bet you this is what, when I was 6 years old, I bet you this is exactly what the original Mario Brothers looked like to me.
Yeah,
it probably looked like a perfect 1080p like
That's true.
TV.
Probably blew your mind.
Yeah, it probably blew my
Yeah.
mind. Like, this is awesome. So that's cool. It brings you back.
Yeah, and we talk about this too, but in 1080p, it's very cool because you can see more of the level.
Yeah.
So they can add a lot more tricks and things like that. And I like those 2D games because they're very hard. I feel like the 3D games are a little easier. The 2D games are still pretty hard, especially if you want to get all the stars and stuff. But outside of the Wii U, there's probably games that I'm missing. I apologize if I am. I'll just go through them real quick and then we can talk about them. Did you mention Destiny?
I did not.
Okay, Destiny, Elder Scrolls Online, Watch Dogs, NHL 15, Dark Souls 2, South Park, The Stick of Truth, and The Order 1886, which is a PS4 exclusive. And then one game I want to talk about real quick is No Man's Sky. It was a game that kind of stole the show at a few gaming shows. It's made by Hello Games, and it's really sad because on Christmas, I think it was, or Christmas Eve, their entire floor got flooded. And it's a 4-man developer crew, and we were already wondering... I want it to work because it's so good for the game industry. It's basically a game where it's space exploration. Every world is kind of dynamically rendered randomly, so you can actually explore worlds and be the first to discover oceans and be the first to discover different places. And if you watch the trailer, you could go right from the sea, right up through the sky, seamlessly into space, shoot your way through asteroids, and like with really good graphics, actually. I think you were saying that you're worried that they're overreaching.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's not
with a
good.
4-man developer.
I mean, if you guys don't know who this developer is, they developed the game Joe Danger,
Yes.
which was pretty much like an Excite Bike / like
Right.
Trials kind of game. And you watch this game trailer, it's like this is like one of the coolest
Tell you
games
what,
I've
though,
ever
that
seen.
game trailer is sick,
It's
though,
like
isn't it?
4 people are going to develop this mass multiplayer game.
Yeah.
I mean,
I tend to agree.
We talk about Battlefield and GTA, how they don't have enough ideas, enough content. It's like,
Yeah, can they really
they
pull
probably
this
have
off?
thousands of people working on those games.
Yeah.
And this studio is 4.
Yeah, and it sucks because now that flood's definitely going to set them back. I guess it was really bad.
Yeah.
But it would be so good. It's just good for the game industry when people try new things.
And the thing is, that
sometimes you
game
fall on
is
your face, but
crazy pretty. Like, I was expecting
that's-
it because I just saw the trailer for the first time. I thought I was expecting like, it's something gonna be like, okay, it's gonna be like they're gonna go for like a cheaper kind of like artsy thing, so they don't have to like do
Right.
graphics.
No, it looks
It's
good.
a legit game.
yeah, and that's you. There are games that are made by small development crews. We were just talking about Braid, but Braid's a 2D game.
Yeah.
So can you make a full 3D world that has planets and space?
I just don't see this coming together. And if it does, it's not coming out this year. We will not see No Man's.
that is probably true. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if they pull it off, they're going to make a lot of money because they'll be signed to something.
It also
big.
makes you, speaking of the money, it makes you wonder if they just made like a sizzle reel, and they played it in front of like the VGX, which used to be
Right.
the VGAs. Maybe they're just trying to get bought. Maybe they're looking for somebody to come up and snatch their idea from.
I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, there's 4 people. This game is crazy.
It was
It's-
impressive.
it's
though.
such a
Go watch
crazy
it.
idea.
It's called No Man's Sky. Pause the podcast and YouTube it right now. It's a crazy trailer.
It's awesome.
Okay, so I think I mentioned all my games. Do you want to talk about a couple of those?
I have a big beef with Elder Scrolls.
Go ahead.
I'm not paying $15 a month when I pay $60 a year to be on Xbox Live.
That is tough.
It's not happening.
You know, it's funny. I heard that they were trying to negotiate with Microsoft to figure out a way to not have that happen.
It's not happening.
But it is true. You do when you're paying $60 a year. It's tough.
I would not do it when DC Universe came out for PS3.
Mm-hmm.
I waited. Eventually, it went free to play. I'll wait till it goes free to play.
Yeah,
I would much rather pay. I would give them money to level up or whatever. I'm not paying
Right.
$15 a month, especially when I'm not going to play it that much.
Yeah, it's tough for me because on one hand I want to get it because I know my brother and his friends. This is like the game they've been looking for. It's just like a console MMO or an RTS. This is an
It'd
MMO.
be right up there with me too.
And it's a first-person / third-person game. If you've ever played any Elder Scrolls,
That means you will not be playing in third person because it usually sucks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But that's very cool. And Destiny and Elder Scrolls, those are two of the biggest attempts at a first-person.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, Destiny really doesn't want to be called an MMO, but to me, it kind of is.
It is.
I think both of us also think that there's a chance that Destiny might fall short too. Which
Yeah, I think. I mean,
I hope it doesn't
It's
because
funny.
I'm a huge Bungie fan. I'm a huge Halo fan, but I'm just like once again what's going to keep me coming back to that world? Because the reason I come back to Halo is competitive play.
Yeah.
So what's going to keep me coming back to Destiny? Because I'm not a big fan of the single-player Halo games. Since Halo
the
1.
only one I've played is the last one I played was Halo 2.
Yeah.
I've had no interest ever going back.
Yeah, and Halo 1 was great. Halo 2 I thought was
no,
disappointing.
Halo 3. I'm sorry, Halo 3, because I was so disappointed. That was like the first one on Xbox 360. I was like, wow, this game looks like it should have came out for original Xbox.
You know, I feel like the Halo games are very repetitive. A lot of the levels look the same. Once again, I exclude Halo 1 because that blew me away. I thought that was very cool.
And I'll play Destiny. I signed up for the beta. We gave you
Me
we gave you a little cheat sheet on how to get into the beta.
Yeah.
But after watching that E3 gameplay demo, I was not impressed. I'm like,
Yeah, you know, the graphics were cool, but I was thinking to myself, it doesn't look that fun to kill this monster. That was what I was thinking. And once again, I am not trying to be a hater because I was really excited about this game.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be real. Like, I felt the same way. I was like, does that look fun to me? I don't know.
It doesn't help the people doing it. Like, they just act like dickheads. They're like, woohoo, let's jump around and run directly at the boss. Like, I don't want to see that. So I want to see how it's really done. I want to see how I would play it.
Yeah, because I do love the idea of kill that boss, get let's call it a legendary, whatever the things are, sniper rifle.
Yeah.
But you still can compete because, one of the problems with MMO games is when you have better stuff, your skill comes into play, but sometimes you just can't get by the gap in armor and weapons and stuff. But in a first-person shooter, I feel like a lot of that would be relieved because you still have to hit me. I still have to hit you. And if I can hit you 3 times with my shitty sniper rifle before you can hit me with yours, you know what I'm saying? So, I like the idea of that, but I don't even know if they're going to put an arena with deathmatch and capture the flag. They haven't really said
I don't know.
anything.
I don't know anything about the game.
Yeah, they haven't said much about it.
Just I know it got a release date, and the beta got pushed back to the spring, summer.
Yeah.
And I'm skeptical on it.
Yeah, I think we both are. But we're hopeful.
Yeah.
NHL 15.
Yeah, I have that.
If you're a friend of the program, you know that we are big NHL fans, even though we felt NHL 14 was a very big disappointment as far as not being a major improvement.
Yeah, technically it was a good game. It's just
still a great
don't
game.
Do anything.
Yeah, if you had to give it a rating of fun, it would be in the 9s, maybe even mid-9s because we have a blast with it. But when you pay $60 every year, it was a 3.
Yeah.
It was the same game.
Well,
it was the same
Did I ever tell you about my EA rule? I used to be a big
yes,
EA fan,
you did, yeah.
and I would pick two EA Sports games a year, and then I would rotate. Like, say 1 year I would get FIFA and NHL, and then next year I would skip them, and then I would get Madden and basketball.
It's a good idea
because it was terrible, and it freshened it up for me a little bit.
I would have been totally happy with us keeping 13 till 15, but the problem is there's going to be way less players, and it's just it makes it not.
And
as fun.
they did a better job in the playoff system. And
that's
14,
true. That was the biggest
14.
improvement. The menus are still awful.
Can we just play playoffs? I hope NHL 15 is just called the playoff edition. All you do is play playoffs.
Well, that's a funny thing too. When you're an EA fan, we're playing FIFA right now, but NHL is the same thing, and they have this playoff system, which is I was saying in the last episode. I wish they do it even first-person shooters because it makes your palms sweat because it's only once a week or once every 2 weeks or once a month, depending on the game, and it makes you so intensely play where you move up in divisions and win cups and. The banners fall before your games for the rest of the week. It's really fun. It's our favorite part about it. But EA, their menu systems are so bad. They hide these. First of all, you have to connect to the EA servers every effing time you change the menu, which is so horribly slow to do anything. But on top of that, they bury the leagues 4 deep in the menus. I feel like some people don't even know about them because you guys told me about them before I even bought NHL. But I feel like it would have taken me forever to find that because they've got the Legends mode and the team career mode stuff.
The Legends mode
the
card game.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it's called Legends.
Like that, but the most fun thing you could do is if you don't know what the playoffs are in these sports games, you get one player. You cannot switch players. So Adam's the left defender. I'm the center, and you play that character the entire game. And you play. We had 5 people or 4 people playing on our team. And you play playoffs where you play other real teams and you got to win 4 in a row to win a cup or a banner or whatever. But it's so much fun because it's intense, right? You got to stay in your position. You get scores for your position. And it's a great idea.
Unless you're my roommate, then you skate all over the place.
Right, exactly. or you just call for the puck from the goalie from 1,000 feet out.
Yeah, he was the right wing for the right wing center and left wing.
I think he scored about 2 goals for every 1 goal he gave to a defender, putting it in our goal.
Yeah. But I don't know if we can win without him. That's the problem with that. We needed him.
Yeah, he's a good scorer.
What else do we got? Games. I just had one one other one since we were talking EA and RPGs and Dragon Age. You ever played Dragon's Age?
I haven't. I know what it is, but I haven't.
Yeah,
played it.
the new one. I played the second one, and this one's coming out. I think it's this year, and I'm very interested to see what they do with that. So
the only other one I wanted to talk about was something we played yesterday. I haven't written. I wrote that PS4 review, and I wrote the new Zelda 3DS review. I might write a Hearthstone beta preview or review, whatever you want to call it, because I'm really like when I want to sit down and play video games for 10 minutes in the last few days. I just got a Wii U. I just got Super Mario 3D World. I have Battlefield 4. I got FIFA. I got Killzone. I'm sitting down and I'm playing Hearthstone. It's that fun.
Should we tell the listeners a little confession about us?
I don't want to.
We left this out of our best of 2013.
2013.
2013. I left this out of our 2013 podcast just because not that we're ashamed of it too much, but we never got the chance to come up. But that last year, we spent the year teaching ourselves how to play Magic the Gathering.
Big time. We got into it. We spent hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, probably like $1,000.
Probably $1,000.
Yeah. And I have no regrets. I love it. I think it's one of the best games
fun.
I played. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just backpedal there for. I don't know why there is this stigma, but there is this stigma of
we've
playing Magic the Gathering.
We've
experienced it first person.
We've experienced.
We've seen
stereotypes.
We've seen where they live.
Yes.
But that said, those kids were very nice to us.
Yeah, we've met some good
Adam
guys.
dragged me to the actual store for like a game night.
We went to a draft.
It was intense, man.
Yeah.
It was I was so unprepared.
We were all unprepared. We drafted wrong and we lost immediately. Then we just left.
What we were doing, but
I still want that $1,000. I still want to spend $1,000 at the store and get that $15 mat.
You got all the credits because you used to go pick them up.
Yep.
But
someday,
for some reason, Magic has this stigma, and it's such a brilliant, awesome game.
Good.
It's strategy. It's not just strategy of playing; it's strategy of deck building. And if you haven't played it, you should give it a try. Get what is it called? The tablet game.
Duels of the Planeswalker.
Duels of the Planeswalker. It does a good job teaching you the game because the rules can be a little complicated. It's much easier playing on a computer rather than cards, even though cards is a much more fun way to play.
I love the cards.
But when you're playing on a computer, it takes care of the rules for you, so you can figure it out.
And if you have Xbox 360 or PS3, it's on there, too.
Yep, and you can get it on a tablet, you can get it on a computer, on Steam. It's very good. Check it out. But Hearthstone is basically a total ripoff, I guess. Yeah. But that's okay. It's Blizzard, and it's a slightly simplified version. Instead of using mana, in Magic, you have to play mana cards to play creatures and spells. In this, you just get a certain amount of mana each turn, and it keeps going up. And they simplify it a little bit. You can't block. I don't want to get too into the nitty-gritty, but I'm in the beta, which they delayed the public beta, so I feel like it's a good time to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's so good. I don't want to talk about the microtransactions, but because I don't know how they're going to be in the final game. But I have to say, I bought one pack because you get like a bonus card, and I haven't had to spend $1 since. You get enough packs with cards, and you get enough money. The two really good things I think they do is you have heroes. So each hero has a different set of cards, as well as like there's public cards that you can use for any class. But the heroes have a special ability built into them.
Yeah.
They can use weapons, and they have like cards that are specific to them. So if you're a mage, you're going to be doing big spells and trying to hit for big damage directly. If you're let's say a hunter, you're going to have a bunch of creatures and try to build them up and buff them and stuff like that. So the other cool thing they do is the arena, and I love this idea. You could pay to do it. It's like $2 or something to enter the arena, or you could use 150 gold coins, which you earn as you play, and it's like triple elimination. And the more wins you get, you have to draft a deck. So they give you 3 choices, and you just keep picking one of 3 until you have 30 cards. You do that 30 times. So there's a lot of skill, and it's really fun drafting your deck. And then you go in with that deck, and they only give you 3 classes to pick from. So you could be competitive because you're not playing the guy who bought 1,000 legendary cards. You're playing. As to back up, they do a really good job matchmaking, so you never really feel like you're totally outcarded until probably when I level up more.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is in the arena,
good guys out there.
In the arena, it's very fair though because you're drafting a deck. You don't get to use your own cards, and then you get up to 3 deaths, and the more you get, the better bonuses. You get like awesome stuff. Like I think my best was like 4 or 5 wins. And I got you get 5 packs. You can get gold and new card packs or whatever. It's kind of random.
Yeah, it's a pretty looking game too. I like it.
It's everything we wanted because the Magic As much as we like Duels of the Planewalker, it's a little buggy. It's not that pretty. This is like everything we wanted in a Magic game. If it was Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering, I would be thrilled because we love Magic.
Yeah.
But it just happens as we get older. Like we can't meet up all the time and play cards, and it's messy, and you got to keep your cards. And how hard is it building a deck with actual cards with thousands of cards?
And I can't shuffle. I had to buy a card shuffler.
He bought the shittiest poker card shuffler I've ever seen. He used to just we were laughing because we were like, we have like these expensive cards, and we're throwing them through this card shuffler. And also, I could shuffle, just for the record, but I'd still let him do it with mine.
I almost brought it to a draft.
We were like, people would be horrified if they saw these legendary cards or whatever they're called, Magic, going through this card shuffler.
Yeah.
So anyway, Hearthstone, if you get a chance to get in the beta, do it.
Is that coming out this year?
I don't think they have an official date because the public beta got moved back. But, I mean, it's so close to a complete game. I can't imagine it won't come out.
Is it going to be free to play?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think it might be. But I'm not sure.
I'll definitely get behind it if it's free to play.
Yeah, I'll have to find that out.
Part of me
don't
just
mind.
feels like I'm cheating on my love.
I know. Well, we haven't played it at all in like months and months.
I still love her.
I know. That's true. But yeah, it's I don't mind spending money to get packs and stuff.
No,
because
me
I
either.
enjoy it. So like,
because there was a time when we were thinking about playing Magic online,
right,
which is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah,
it's just
the packs are a little cheaper, and you keep a digital copy because it would just be more convenient for us. But it had the real rules where. Not even the real rules, but the you could make a real deck where Duels they kind of give you like generic decks to make it easier because it's hard to make.
Because drafting is awesome.
Drafting's really fun.
As we matured, learning Magic more and more, drafting was one of the favorite things.
And drafting is the same thing as the arena in real life. You go and you open up like 6 packs and you make a deck out of it.
Yeah,
and
that's okay. I was gonna explain drafting because we used to get lost in the Magic terms and we're just throwing them out there like we're pros now.
I always hate when people use like big like buzzwords too, and we're just doing it ourselves.
Yeah, if you didn't catch what Andy said, drafting is pretty much you open up a deck of cards, you make a deck out of it.
Yeah,
you pick your favorites or pick the most useful cards, and
it's a skill. You have to say
it really is.
And there's other more difficult ones which we didn't do, where like you actually pass packs, and you have to take one card at a time.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you have to decide before you see what the next one is. That's kind of how Hearthstone is, because you can't decide like I'm going to build a buff deck because you don't know if you're going to get any more of those cards.
Yeah.
So you have to really just know like what the good value cards are, I guess. And boy, my voice sounds ridiculous right now. I'm really.
That's okay.
The sinus cold is not helping. Yeah, I don't think there's nothing I really want to say. Dark Souls 2, I never played Dark Souls. You said it's really hard, and I feel like our time it's tough to play right now. South Park: The Stick of Truth looks exactly like South Park. It's actually made by the creator, so it looks like it's going to be, fist pounding funny. And The Order 1886, there hasn't been that many details, but it looks beautiful. It's a PS4 exclusive. It's very cool.
I just hope it's not too much steampunk. Cause
I know, there's a little bit of that, yeah.
That's why I stayed away from Bioshock Infinite. I just can't do steampunk.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing I have written down is Xbox Live updates. I'm excited to get finally like the TV apps, the Time Warner app, so I can do that seamlessly as well.
The Twitch
as
one will be
get
cool.
Skype working properly with the snapping Skype, all that stuff. Do you have any more games?
No, I'm all out of games.
Okay. Do you want to do music? I don't really have much written
I just
down,
have.
so go ahead.
I talked last week about how Radiohead's my favorite band ever.
They have an album coming out?
They were supposed to have one this year, but it got pushed back, and that's pretty much all. I don't really pay attention to music until it like hits me in the face.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
I didn't even know new Arctic Monkeys are one of my all-time favorite bands. I didn't even know they were having a new album until.
Yeah. I'm a massive John Frusciante fan. Curtains is my favorite album ever. If you don't know who that is, it's the guitarist, the former guitarist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Curtains is one of his solo albums. He does a lot of solo stuff. He comes out with like a new mini album every month. It's very weird. Now he's doing a lot. First he was doing electronic stuff, kind of like what our producer Chad does, a little bit like that. Now he's doing beats for this rap group.
For Dr. Dre?
It's very obscure rap group, but it's really cool. Like I love everything he does. I love him. I'm obsessed with him. That's pretty much the only music that I'm specifically looking forward to. I'm sure there'll be albums. Like I had no idea Daft Punk was coming out, for example, even though we're both big Daft Punk fans.
Know that maybe,
yeah,
but I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
But you weren't looking forward to it a year before.
I didn't. I didn't. And I wasn't. I didn't know what to expect. Like I had listened to the Tron album and stuff like that.
Right.
And people were talking about it.
What do you think? Books?
Yeah. Oh, you go. I have no books. All I can say is keep reading Scott Snyder. It's Batman.
He direct messaged Adam if anyone missed that.
So
earlier. Adam's still
I was all
amped up.
Well, I was all excited
because
I thought
the podcast.
I thought it'd be cool to because what happened was I tweeted out with 8-Bit Bourbon's profile or Twitter, and then I retweeted with mine, and then he direct messaged my personal
Right.
profile, so I can't really brag about it. And the people like, you sent me a direct message. I'm not going to take a screenshot of it and then put it out there.
Right. That's kind of he did that on purpose.
Yeah, he did it because
Right.
obviously he can't go around and like promote other people's like stuff, which
Sure.
we were trying to get him to do.
Which is exactly what we want. Yeah.
But it was nice of him to be like, "Hey, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it."
No, that's cool.
Which is awesome. So read his stuff.
Yeah, and I have it's basically sequels to stuff we talked about in the 2013 episode. But Brandon Sanderson is awesome author. He wrote The Way of Kings, so I'm looking forward to that sequel. It's going to be, if you ever read The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, he actually finished that series for him because Robert Jordan died, I think, of cancer, and it's going to be a similar like 13 book series or something like that. It's massive, but the first one was so good. Looking forward to the second one. He also wrote the Mistborn series, which is awesome. If you haven't read that, go read it. I'm not usually a huge fan of a female protagonist in kind of like a badass book, but this has one and it's very good. And then the other one is The Tower Lord by, or maybe it's just called Tower Lord by Anthony Ryan, which is the sequel to Bloodsong, which was the one we talked about. I'm not sure if it was self-published, but it was a very small publisher, and then it got actually published by a major corporation, and it's kind of blowing up now. And he actually retweeted some of our stuff earlier, Anthony Ryan. This guy is going to be a superstar.
Yeah,
On
cool,
Amazon,
man.
he has full 5-star review for Bloodsong. It's that good, and not 4.5, full 5 stars, and I was so shocked. I read the first 50 pages. I had no idea what this was. This is like a big gamble. And I read the first 50 pages. I was like, this is okay. He kind of sets up a generic fantasy, and then he just kills it. It's so awesome. And
Yeah.
I already pre-ordered Tower Lord. He's charging a full price for it, which I'm excited for. I want him to make some money and get his name out there. Follow him on Twitter. Read this book. I think it's his only book that he's got out, Bloodsong, but it's so good. And I think that's pretty much, those are the two big ones that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I was looking through the list earlier when we were making the post, and I was like, I don't know which one to choose to read first, but now I do, because if you tweet us,
That's
you know,
true. He's a fan of the program.
He's a fan. He's a friend of the show.
And you would love it.
Yeah, so so it's gonna be awesome. I'm glad that he actually took the time. That's so nice, and like to see that like these big people can take the time and be like, just write a couple words and say like thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes 5 seconds. It's cool to see someone really do that.
Hint to our listeners.
Yeah.
Just send us a message. You know, be a
Yeah.
part of the show.
Please email us.
Yeah,
tweet us.
don't be bashful.
Anything. We want to hear from you guys. Anything good, bad, please. I think that's it for books. I mean, I'm looking forward to Song of Fire and Ice, Book 6, which probably won't be.
Me
till-
too. So I can finally start Dance of Dragons. I'm
And
not doing it.
And I'm
until I
also
get a
looking
release
forward
date.
to The Name of the Wind, Book 3, which is my favorite series ever, bar none.
All right, I know.
Unless Book 3 sucks, and then I'll have to rehash that.
I know we're running out of times, but I brought up the idea that we should do predictions for 2014.
Okay.
Did you get any
bold
chance-
predictions? I have one.
I don't know. Some of mine are a little like fanboy, and then the other one's kind of
Okay.
bold.
Go ahead. Yeah, let's get
My
into
first
it.
one is I think we'll get a Red Dead announcement.
A Red Dead sequel or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah,
Okay.
the third installment of the series. Because Red Dead Redemption, I think I finally made the decision. It's my all-time favorite game.
Interesting.
It hit me on every single level. Had the
Wow.
open world. I love that time period.
It's a great game.
Had awesome It was decent multiplayer, and then it had an awesome expansion. Had like
I never played the expansion.
it
It's like a zombie expansion,
It was
right?
like if there, besides the Telltale Walking Dead games, if there was ever a Walking Dead game, it was that. It was perfect.
Right.
Like you had limited ammo.
It's a perfect.
You could run
world
around
for
it.
that,
Yeah, it was
certainly.
awesome.
Yeah.
And I really, really
Reminded me of No Country for Old Men, where you know how they had the epic like widescreen cinematography of the desert and the mountains.
Yeah.
It was kind of like it was so cool when you're riding your horse and just like that sunset in the
God.
background.
And I go back to the Undead Nightmare, which was the DLC. It was awesome. They had like mythological beasts that you had to hunt, because the big thing in the game was hunting. And all of a sudden, the grizzly bears were like Sasquatches. I almost said Sam Squanches because of Trailer Park Boys. I caught myself. That's a little Trailer Park Boys shout out. But and then they had like the seven what are they? 7 angels of death or whatever. But they're in like horse form, so you had to go out and get like death
cool.
and stuff like that. It was cool. It was awesome. Probably
so you're hoping for a
yeah,
sequel
I
or
mean,
a prequel or
they just
anything.
came out with Grand Theft Auto 5, Rockstar.
Yeah.
And I know it's a different
It's
studio.
going to be 5 years probably till Grand Theft Auto 6.
But I'm hoping that's just the way it works. Because Rockstar, pretty much all they've done in the last couple of years was, what was that? L.A. Noire,
Yep.
Red Dead Redemption, and Grand Theft Auto 4
think so, yeah.
and 5. So hopefully
They're
it's...
kind of like Blizzard. They take their time.
And I don't think they're going to... They really don't branch out and make like new IPs that often. So
Right.
I have to imagine
It was
a Red
very
Dead
well
game.
rated,
Yeah.
and I believe well
And
purchased.
can you imagine this game
so.
on a next gen, their first next gen
Oh my
game?
God. It
I'll
was a
be so
beautiful
happy.
game, yeah.
Yeah, and that's my first prediction. That
Go
we'll
ahead.
see it.
You want to give me? I only have one, so I don't know what you've got.
My other ones are kind of bold. These ones are a little bold. First one's not as bold as the second one. Our favorite game of 2014 will not be on the list that we had today.
Interesting. I could definitely see that.
Like maybe a game that we just overlooked, or maybe a game we
that
don't
hasn't
even
been announced. Yeah.
So, and my last one is, this is for all you PlayStation fans, Xbox One will outsell PS4 in North America this year.
Well,
Not worldwide, because everybody knows, like, you European gamers, you guys love your PS3, you love your Sony products. You love
well,
the
it's
PS3.
going to get killed in Japan, obviously.
Yeah, and isn't it crazy that the PS4 still hasn't come out in Japan? Like, it's a Japanese company, and they're like,
Has it still not come out?
it hasn't. I think it's February.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to kill Xbox there, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's
I don't-
interesting.
They stopped
just
selling
hope-
the 360 at one point in Japan because it was so bad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was. It was like really bad. Yeah, I think they're more about the first person, like RPGs and stuff like that, which Xbox did not have. That's a Sony staple. Okay, my one bold prediction that I just thought of because you said that was I think that the Wii U is going to sell triple what they sold this year.
So like 5 or 6 copies.
I do. Well, let's be serious.
Wait, how many you bought? You bought one, so maybe 4.
As gaming fans, we want all three
Oh, yeah.
systems to do
I
well.
want them to do right.
And I really think, what's funny? Your roommate, who's a big video game fan, he was telling me something that I saw earlier. Nintendo's trying to do a better job explaining that the Wii U is not an accessory for the Wii. That's how bad their marketing is.
Well, you don't name it a Wii U. What the hell's a Wii U?
I know, it's so stupid.
Wait, did he think it was?
He thought it was an accessory, or he wasn't sure.
Oh, wow.
That's bad because
He's
this is a big game.
Yeah, he's a big gamer.
And it's like, but it is kind of true when you think about it. It's like you see this thing, it's called Wii U. All they show is the gamepad, which is a huge, it's the big controller with the screen. But then the system looks just like the Wii, and it's like it's a good point.
That's crazy.
The
I didn't
marketing
even think
was
of it
really
like
bad.
that. Yeah, obviously I knew the name sucked, but I never thought people actually thought it was. I
Yeah.
mean, because I live in the world. We live in.
It was funny because he mentioned that to me, and I had just read an article about how Nintendo's changing their marketing because people are starting to think it's a Wii accessory. But I think with Super Mario 3D World, which is many people's game of the year,
Yeah.
I think with Smash Brothers, which is a lot of people's favorite game, period. You're going to get a Zelda, I'm sure,
Donkey
announcement,
Kong.
and a Donkey Kong. You're going to get a Metroid announcement, I'm sure. I think it's going to sell triple what it sold this year, and I hope it does for all
Me
of
too.
us. And not only because I'm an owner, but now.
But I think
thank you,
that
girlfriend.
system's probably gonna have a quick turnaround, though. I imagine we'll see a new one very, very quickly.
I hope it sucks because that's kind of what they did with the Wii, and if they would just come out with a,
They need to come out with something
powerhouse,
big, yeah.
And that leads me into my number one bold prediction, which it's not really a 2014 bold prediction, so it's kind of cheating, but I think that the Steam box is going to.
yeah.
I think the Steam box is going to catch fire, and I think that it's going to change console gaming, and not this generation, but possibly next generation, almost bring an end to console gaming as we know it. And what I mean by that is I think that there's going to be a more build your own console kind of thing, and it might not be Steam itself or Valve, I guess makes Steam, but it's going to be something where, like we talked about last episode, where maybe Nintendo starts just making games, you get your own hardware, stuff like that. And if you don't know what Steambox is, it's basically Steam is a Valve software for computers where you could download games, and they do a really good job with digital distribution because they have really good sales. Like you could get BioShock Infinite now for like $20 or something, I'm making that number up, but they have sales all the time where you can get like new games that came out less than a year ago for like a quarter of what they are. And on consoles, we know that's like impossible. Yeah. And that's why we both wish that the Xbox had a digital only. We were kind of excited about that, but at the same time, what's the draw? It's $60.
There's no draw.
You can't resell it. You got to give us some sort of.
Well, I can say Xbox go to my game without putting.
That is true. That is true, and that's why we both download digital. But it's kind of if we're really being honest with ourselves, it's kind of silly. When they need to give us some sort of incentive, right?
Yeah.
But Steambox, it basically is. It doesn't run Windows or Mac. It runs Steam OS, which they just made, and it just sits in your living room, and you don't have to buy the Steam box. You can make your own console, or you can buy. Different companies will sell them, just like different companies sell computers, and they have a controller without analogs of any kind. They're two big touchscreens that have haptic feedback. I don't know if that's going to be awesome or a disaster, but I'm dying to use it.
I'd rather plug my Xbox One controller in with the
which
micro
also
USB,
will probably be a possibility. I'm sure it will because it's going to have USB ports and stuff. But I think what they're trying to do with their controller is make a way to play mouse keyboard games because the touchpad has haptic feedback. So supposedly when you move your thumbs around, it feels like something's pulling against it kind of. It vibrates in the right spots where you can feel how far you are from the center. But I think that eventually, because I'm thinking to myself, like, now I have like $1,500 in consoles. It's like just to play exclusives. That's the only reason I'm really doing that. All of these games, the gamepad on Wii, the Kinect on Xbox, whatever on PS4, none of the technologies are that different where you couldn't just play all your games on Xbox or all your games on PS4. And because the AAA titles, even Super Mario 3D World, there's not that much you do with a gamepad.
No.
And they're so expensive that they want you to buy the nunchucks or the other gamepad. So I do think Steam. I'm not saying I even want it to happen necessarily because it would be kind of sad to see that happen. But I do think that Steam is onto something where they're kind of saying, hey, like look at Steam on the computer. We sell games for way cheaper than you get them on consoles. Now we're going to bring that to your living room.
Those sales they have are crazy.
They're crazy.
They were giving Left 4 Dead 2 for free. For over Christmas.
I saw that. Yeah,
everybody, it was all over Twitter. You couldn't get away from it. People had like timers of when it was going to close, trying to get the word out.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot to put Steam Box on there. Just because I might get it, just because I don't want to have to get a gaming PC, but I really want to play the game DayZ, and that might be the reason why.
Is that a zombie game?
Yeah, that's that zombie game I was showing you. It's like it started off as a game from this game called Arma or Arma 2. I think it was Arma 2, and somebody made a mod that. It's a tactical like army shooter,
right? And they turn it into.
And
like
somebody brought like zombies in it. And
open world,
yeah.
Like,
and it looks
it does
amazing.
look pretty cool, yeah.
And it's in like alpha right now.
And that's a good point too. It's like I have all 3 consoles now, and I still can't play the computer games.
Yeah.
So like at some point, I would like. I don't want to see anyone go away because that's sad. But if like. Sony's such a good hardware company, Microsoft's such a good software company. Like, if they all could somehow do something together, someone's going to be hurt in the process.
Yeah, if I could build a box for like $400 or $500, I would do it.
Yeah, and of course, and what you lose in consoles is the beauty of consoles is. Did you know that the PlayStation 3? I don't want to get this wrong. I think it had 256 megs of RAM. Do you know how crazy
it was
this?
small.
This laptop has 4 gigs of RAM. This thing I bought like 5 years ago. I mean. So I guess, and obviously they have the cell processor, so it's a little bit different. But my point is, the beautiful part about consoles is they can squeeze every drop of performance because they know exactly what the hardware is. So I'm worried that I almost wish the Steam Box, they would say, listen, we're going to have, they've already said like fast, faster, and fastest.
Yeah.
But I wish that they wouldn't let you make your own. As shitty as that sounds, only because if you had 3 versions, they know what they're dealing with. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, that's the problem with computer games is, everyone always says, oh, you can get the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox. You could build that yourself for cheaper, and it's going to be outdated in 3 years. Well, that's true, but if you saw Halo 4 on the Xbox 360, for example, the Xbox 360 is a piece of crap compared to, like, new gaming consoles. And Halo 4 looked amazing.
How about Grand Theft Auto 5?
Grand Theft Auto 5.
That water, before I played Battlefield 4, that water in that game was the best thing I've ever seen in a game.
The Last of Us, which we haven't played, but seen the
Yeah,
trailers.
truly.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
You can't do that on a console because they have to manufacture for all the different hardware.
Oh, yeah. And like, I was listening to, I don't want to give too many other podcasts credit, but I was listening to Giant Bomb podcast today, and they're giving out their awards, their lead nominees, and they were talking about best graphics stuff. And there weren't any PS4 games or Xbox One games. They were like PC, like venture games or Xbox 360 or PS3 games. Like these consoles can still do the thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They have to figure out the Xbox One, the PS4.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's too early to say, which one's better, which one has a peak. We'll see because people figure out the tricks.
I don't want to like an arms race if Steam Box comes out.
That's what I'm worried about. I don't want to update my computer every 2 years. And as console gamers, that we look forward to stability. That's what we like in our living room.
And
we know, if I want to play Crysis at the best possible level, I'll go get myself a $3,000 gaming PC. But it's not the price. It's that I like the fact that I could just have this console. I'm going to have it for 10 years.
Yeah.
All my friends are on it.
I'm very happy with it.
And hopefully SteamOS kind of brings those console benefits of like having all your friends in a friend list and stuff like that. Because that's something on computers that every game, you got to get a different friend list, and it's not that nice,
Yep.
I just have a couple gadgets because we are definitely out of time. I'm looking forward to the new Nexus tablets.
Yeah, I want a Nexus 10.
Yep, which they haven't announced yet if they're
Asus
going
makes
to.
it.
I'm looking forward to the MacBook refreshes because as this thing actually is still running very strong. I have a 15-inch MacBook Pro from 2009 maybe. But I'm very much looking forward to. My problem is I've told you 15 inches is too big. It's like might as well. Chad, add a sound effect there, please. Something.
Related, Ralph.
But it's too big to be a laptop. It's like I either need a 13-inch Air or a MacBook or a desktop because 15-inch. The only time I ever bring it anywhere is to do these podcasts.
I love the MacBook Airs.
Right, it's 15 inches is too large to like take on a train or something like that. I'm looking forward to a new Windows phone. Hopefully that has some sort of, because I have AT&T and I bought a Nexus 4, and if you don't know, if you have AT&T or Verizon, you are paying a monthly fee to subsidize your $200 phone or $100 phone that you get. So don't be fooled by that. If you get Straight Talk, it runs on the AT&T towers, and it's $50 a month for everything.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're giving you an $800 phone or a $600 phone for $200, and they're making you pay for 2 years a much higher price monthly, and they end up making a lot of money.
Well, yeah. And
sorry.
I
guess my point is I'm wasting money on AT&T because I'm not using the subsidy right now. So I'd like to either get a new Android or a new Windows phone because I've had a upgrade forever now because I'm not even under contract, so I could go Verizon or AT&T.
Yeah, and just be cautious of those upgrade early plans those because you're paying what he just talked about
or the Verge.
He just talked about that subsidy that you're paying. You're still paying that, and then you pay that new fee on top of that. And so you're paying twice for a phone,
and you have to trade the phone in when you get your new phone. Which if you you might want to keep it for a backup, or B, you could still after a year. If you have like a subsidized phone, let's say you had an iPhone 5S, you could probably sell it for like $300 and pay for your almost a new phone. So do not use those.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if you have a credit card, I know it's hard to like some people don't want to put money on a credit card, but if you put that money on your credit, if you buy a $600 phone on your credit card, you're paying less than you would per month.
Yeah. For
this the subsidy, because you're going to hit with interest and all that stuff, but it's still going to be less.
Yeah. And just understand that if you're going to sign up for a 2-year contract, get the best phone available. Don't ever get a $0 phone for because you're getting screwed because they're selling you a $200 phone for $0 when you should be getting an $800 phone for $200. You know what I'm saying? So take advantage of your 2-year contract.
Yeah, I bought my Galaxy Nexus over 2 years ago, and I still owe money on that phone because I tried to get like a new phone. I was just seeing what I could do because I still have my old grandfathered unlimited Verizon plan. I was just seeing what I could flirt with, and I couldn't get a new phone early because I still owe money on my Galaxy Nexus.
It's great.
When I've been paying on it for 2 years.
That stuff.
Yeah, and I paid $330 for this phone brand new.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, let's close out our 2014 podcast with one last thing. We have plans for this show. Obviously, the show's moving forward, whether we get listeners or we don't get listeners. But we live in upstate New York, and right in our neighborhood, pretty much, in Massachusetts, there's PAX East. And we've decided that we're going to try to go to PAX East this year. It's our first ever games conference.
We like to meet some developers, maybe get them on the show.
We'll go bar hopping with some listeners.
Yeah, that's true, too. If you guys are going to go, let us know.
Yeah, we want to hear if people go to PAX East because, we're going to probably go. Maybe we could go there and we can hang out all day, then we can do podcast. We can do like a 30-minute podcast.
Yeah, we might do like a little mini podcast.
The quality might not be the greatest because we'll probably publish it ourselves. We can do it. We can do it right that night.
Yeah.
Get it out.
Absolutely.
And that's pretty much it. Other than record the podcast and try to go to PAX East, maybe we'll get lucky and go to Comic-Con or
well, if things go well,
get some press badges.
This week has been a really good week for us. We had a record download in one day, and then we had a second record in one day, and the podcast wasn't even up on iTunes. Of course, once again, if you're a subscriber, you got it automatically, but it wasn't there to actually click on. Yeah. We were third on New and Noteworthy on just for all podcasts, not just video game podcasts. We got our website hopefully going up tomorrow, and I'm going to move everything over there because there's a few little glitches with iTunes, how it's pulling it in. Right now, I'm just using the WordPress we're using is kind of the generic, hosted by them, and it doesn't allow for as many things. So I need to get blah, 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 boring tech stuff. But basically, we'll be doing it the right way, and we'll have full show notes and things like that. Adam's been bugging me about getting the show notes up, so we really got to move that over to the website to have that happen. And our 2013 podcast, we said we listed all those items that we talked about. That's going to be on that website. It's www.8bitbourbon.com. Just like 8bitbourbon@gmail.com, 8bitbourbon on Twitter. Very easy to remember. So look for that. We'll tweet it out, definitely. And follow us on Twitter, please, so we can interact or send us an email.
Yeah, and thank you guys so much. Like we're not stupid when we record this. Our real expectations. We said we would be happy with 50 downloads in our first month. We did not expect to like get the audience or the listener subscriptions that we've gotten. So thank you so much. We know that it could go away tomorrow. We know it could happen. We could have 1,500 downloads right now, and in 2 weeks we have 1,600. So, but we just want to say thank you, and please be a part of the show. Like this is the time. Like I'm not saying we're gonna get wildly popular, but this is the time of the show. If you've ever written into a podcast and be like, it sucks, like when you hear like the email section and you never got your letter read. I mean, if you write us a good letter that's like can be a part of the show, like contribute to the show, it's gonna be on the show.
We like to call people fans of the show, fans of the program. You'll be a fan of the show, fan of the program forever.
I mean, you put your Twitter name in there. We'll get your Twitter name out, and just we want you guys to be a part of us. It's gonna be that. This show is for you guys, for our listeners.
Absolutely, and I hope that one of the parts of our success so far has just been that I think there's a lot of people that identify with us where we kind of said in our first podcast, we're kind of figuring out where, as somewhat adults, how our relationship with video games is changing. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there like that want to play games and they're not sure where their time is best spent because the time's it's more valuable now. There's not as much of it. And I feel like there's a lot of people out, and there's a lot of people who like to drink bourbon.
Yeah, and people
and liquor.
And I found as I get older, I mean, I've always had enjoyment, but I enjoy just like talking like video games, talking tech. It's just fun.
Definitely.
And I hope you guys enjoy
listening.
Yeah, let's do it. And that's going to be it for us, guys. This week we're actually going to leave you with another one of our very busy producers. Bands. He's got a whole
this
group
is number
of bands.
3. We had a solo,
the
him and
side
Al's
project,
and this is a band that I'd say maybe his main.
I think it's the main band. I don't know if they're still making music. I really haven't heard anything from them. I know they still practice.
Yeah, they're very good. They're kind of a jazzy, modern jazzy kind of feel.
Yeah, if you've ever heard bands like Rain and Kindo or
very
anything
Rain
like
and
that.
Kindo,
Yeah,
inspired definitely.
But and we got to say thank you. We're gonna say thank you to him every weekend.
Yeah, we're sorry,
Chad Johnson. He's just the best.
Yeah, we're sorry, Chad. This is another 90-minute podcast that you're going to have to deal with.
We really tried. I mean, I think these shows are hard because there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, our recaps, exactly.
Yeah.
These are our yearly recaps.
I think we could have these shows. I probably could have gone. I could have gone 4 hours.
This whole time we've been glancing at the clock.
I could have talked. I could have talked an hour and 20 minutes about Sherlock.
I know, absolutely.
We've
been glancing at our watches, like tapping our wrists the whole time.
But yeah, this is the house cleaning thing. Email the show, 8bitbourbon@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at 8bitbourbon. We're on Instagram at 8bitbourbon. Interact with us. Be a part of the show. We want to hear from you guys. And because you guys have been so great. It's so weird. We have listeners. We have subscriptions. Just be a part of us.
Yeah.
You know?
We're looking for more interaction.
Yeah, I can't emphasize it enough. Like, I feel like I'm repeating myself. This is going to be like the longest outro ever. But yeah, be a part of the show. Because I have a giveaway.
We love you.
I have a giveaway. We haven't figured out how to do it. But I'm going to give away Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. To
HD downloads.
Yeah, to a listener. But we got to figure out a way to get people to. Yeah. I'm not going to give you guys the goodies until
That's right. You got to earn them.
Yeah, you got to earn it. You can't just come in here and take it. But yeah, we're going.
What do you have the song name?
I do have the song name. The band name is The Grand Design. You can find them on Twitter at Grand Design Band. Great friends of the show. We've known them forever. And we're going to leave you with my personal favorite song off the EP. It's a 5-song EP. You can find it on iTunes. It's called The Grand Design. Pretty sure it's self-titled. I don't think there's any weird name.
I believe it is, yeah.
And the song is The Kansas City Shuffle. So enjoy it. Thank you, Chad. You're great as always. I'm Adam.
I'm Andy.
We're 8-Bit Bourbon.
Thank you, guys.
You spend your time building these walls, but it seems you'd make a better window. Yeah, and all the while they're throwing stones. Well, I have something that will let you know. You could see your face Deception isn't treating you well. The lies you couldn't tell.